Jade Cargill has been quite the hot topic since making her debut in WWE. She has been promoted as a must-see talent that has megastar potential written all over. Her impressive physique, athletic background, and media presence makes her a definite contender for a major push. So why are many fans claiming that she is overhyped? Well, there are many factors as to why this may be the case. The first major problem is that WWE is marketing Jade like she is the next big thing, but she simply doesn't have the in-ring ability or experience to back this up. She began her wrestling career in AEW back in 2020, and her role in that company was to squash every opponent that she was in the ring with. Out of the 50 matches that she had during her run, there was only a select few where she was able to show something different. A majority was just 5-minute matches that became repetitive really quickly. It's almost impossible to show what you are capable of when you have a limited amount of time to prove yourself. AEW prioritized creating this unbeatable homegrown talent in the women's division that nobody on the roster was believable enough to beat her in a match. During that streak, she did show some new moves here and there, but nothing she was a part of ever felt important. You invested in the story with Jade Cargill just for her to squash the next competitor and move on to the next opponent. There was just no substance behind basically a majority of her matches. This was when people began to criticize her, saying that she isn't decent in the ring and is creating this big streak that means nothing at the end of the day. Her major push felt like it was more about her marketability than her wrestling ability. This concern has followed behind her as she debuted for WWE. I was one of those who believe Jade Cargill needs time to flourish because I feel like she wasn't used properly in AEW, but WWE seems to be following the same exact path, prioritizing her potential star power over her actual in-ring prowess. I've been watching Jade Cargill's matches since WrestleMania with a positive outlook that she's going to look a little bit behind compared to everyone else in the ring with her, but I would be lying to you if I said I was a fan of what I've seen so far. The only reason why she was paired with Bianca Belair in a tag team was because she lacked the in-ring ability to carry out a match on her own. This team didn't improve the women's tag team division, they didn't help any of the teams look better, they didn't do anything of importance with the championships. Overall, it was just a team created to mask the limitations of Jade. She seems to miss spots consistently and feels clunky when preparing for her spots. Her stinger splashes in the corner are great, her feats of strength when performed right looks great, her aura when she's in the ring is undeniable, but when she botches, it's hard to ignore that because you would expect her to be a little bit more polished. The beginning of her match at Clash of the Castle was fine. She hit the stinger splashes in the corner, she did a nice fall away and Samoan drop combination, but after this was when the entire match completely fell apart. She was taken out of the mix after both teams jumped her on the outside, and she stood out there selling the effects as if she got hit by about 7 finishers on concrete. Her botch from when she made the hot tag at Clash of the Castle was not her fault. The ropes were causing botches for everyone throughout the PLE. But here's the difference between the botch that Cargill had and the botch that Damian Priest had. Priest has been doing that move for ages, and it's a special move that he has done many times before. He just happened to slip here and the botch looked absolutely nasty. Jade Cargill rarely pulls off top rope moves because it is just not her game, so this botch could have easily been avoided by simply not going for the top rope move at all before it's even a polished part of your arsenal. Jade is one of those wrestlers who doesn't need to be doing flips, cartwheels, tope suicidas. She could stick to the power moves and polishing them while improving her in-ring psychology. She needs to stick to working on more simple moves before we think about whipping out the more advanced ones that take loads of practice to pull off. She had this spot where she caught elbow fire in a powerbomb position and tried to boot Shayna Baszler at the same time, but her positioning caused her to slip. But I'm not gonna lie, the move looks so clean, I can't even consider that a botch. She kind of recovered clean with that one. But the spot that confused me the most was when Shayna Baszler put Jade Cargill in a Kirifuda clutch and she tapped out. Does she not know that the signal of tapping out is doing this? That when you like do this signal, that means that you lose the match? Does she not know that this means that the match ended? Like, that's it. If the ref caught it, it would have been even more awkward. She just doesn't have the fundamentals engraved into her brain. And I know someone in the comments is gonna say,
oh, but you're nitpicking the little things that she had a problem with.
Well, the commentary team acknowledged it and literally were screaming in our ears that she tapped out. So if they're calling it out, I'm going to call it out as well. To end the match, Jade and Bianca hit their DDT German suplex finisher on Shayna Baszler, but the way that they executed just looked sloppy. This was not a great night for Jade Cargill, and it's a clear indication that she's just not ready for singles competition. I really want Jade to succeed because I'm loving the way that they present her, and she clearly has the look to be one of the top dogs in the division, but she's clearly not grasping the learning ropes of the basic one-on-ones of wrestling, and that's very concerning considering the fact that they are pushing her as the golden girl of the women's division. To put it in short, she's receiving this major push that she doesn't deserve. I made a video not too long long ago explaining what I believe WWE could do to make Jade Cargill succeed, and one of those things was have her work in NXT. The problem is that WWE has presented her as a top level talent, so going to NXT will look like a demotion for her because she is above the developmental brand. The fact is, she needs a developmental brand because unlike on the main roster, she can afford to do mistakes down there. NXT shouldn't be frowned upon and should actually be looked at as a place to improve your game, as the lights aren't as bright down there. Jade putting on matches down there and trying new things would have benefited her and prepared her for the main roster. She has not been impressive so far, and I don't believe breaking her and Bianca up so soon is going to do her any justice. She hasn't done many promos yet in WWE to critique her in that aspect of her game, but with what we have so far, it's not looking too bright for her in that area as well. In my opinion, Jade could benefit from having a manager who does all the talking for her because she has the presence of this dominant heel that nobody can beat. So imagine having a Paul Heyman by her side telling us how great she is. The women wrestlers in WWE never had a manager like Paul Heyman, so this would be a breath of fresh air for the division. This could also help levitate the workload for Jade and have her focus mainly on her in-ring work, which will be the most important since she has a manager doing the talking for her. Jade has a lot of work to do in order to prove a lot of people wrong, because right now she's not looking the best and WWE has invested heavily into her character. I kind of feel bad for her because of all this pressure, but that is the cards that she has been dealt with, and it's time to put those working boots on and make something happen. There's always time to improve, but WWE is hurting her ability to perform freely because of this massive expectation for her to deliver must-see matches. Her role so far is being a hot tag machine, and it works for her because it hides all the flaws she has, but the fact that she still manages to screw up some spots is why people believe she doesn't deserve to be pushed the way she is. Is Jade Cargill overhyped? Yes. WWE is marketing her to the levels of Rhea Ripley. Hell, I can even say she's marketed better than Rhea Ripley, but she simply cannot deliver up to those standards because she is not seasoned enough. The biggest mistake the company can make is plugging her into a major profile match after breaking up the team between her and Bianca because she does not belong there yet. Jade Cargill's future in WWE is truly a mystery, as she has the opportunity to become one of the greatest in the division or one of the biggest failed experiments in WWE history.